Hey guys, so just to finish this up, we're going to kind of complete all this. We've got our little things that move canvas here. Recall that everything needs to be on a different layer. So I think the last I left, the sign was on the same layer as the road. So double check to make sure that you've got a layer assigned for each thing. Now what I did was I went through and I selected a couple of cars. And what you can do with these, is you can like select everything, right? Just with your select tool here, select the various cars because they should be all grouped together. Holding down Shift while you do it. And what you can do is you can just with your mouse, with your keyboard, Control X on the keyboard, make a new layer, and then Control F, and then they paste in place, right? So you can have those. The placement of these is not necessarily going to matter. So that's just something that you can do to sort of speed things up. So I've got cars 1 here, which is like half the cars, and cars 2, and this is just going to give it a little bit of a parallax, a little bit of a sort of depth to it. But yeah, okay, here we go. So what we want to do now is we want to import this composition, this little Illustrator file into After Effects. So what I'll do is I'll just go find it on the computer here. Center videos, I've got it saved in my little city animation folder. I'm going to find my things that move. Here we go. And I'll just drag this in, and make sure when you drag it in that you, once again, make it a composition, and you set the footage dimensions to layer size, not composition size, but layer size. Okay, so with that done, I'll get my things that move layers, and I'll start off with the road. I'll just drag my road down here, and my road's going to be pretty big, and you can just sort of like just lower it down, move it around if you like, depending on how you want to place it. I'll put it down maybe like here, make it look like some sort of a bridge in the foreground. And then we'll grab, next we'll grab one of our cars, and we'll sort of like drag that down. And I want to say this might be a bit big for me. I'm gonna shrink this down. So I'm gonna hit S for scale, and let's just try 80%. That's probably good. Okay. And I'll do the same thing for cars 2. I'll just drag those down, and I'll hit S for scale, and I'll scale these down to 80%. So, if you look at your scene, you think, well, I think my city's big enough. I think that they can be bigger. That's fine. Whatever you like. And I'll position these just slightly lower on the road than the other cars here. So just to give it a little bit of a foreground. So we're going to animate these a little bit differently. I'm just going to, I'll zoom in here and I'll show you what we're doing. Essentially what we want to do is we want to have these guys fly past the screen a couple of times. So I'm going to have a position keyframe here. I'll just P for position. And let's see if we can't just sort of move these guys off the screen. I'll just drag these guys over. And I'll make these invisible for now. And I'll make a keyframe for my position, and I'm going to have them maybe take about, I don't know, 4 seconds to get across the screen here, right? So I'm going to drag them across. I'll hold down Shift while I'm doing it to keep it in a straight line. Okay. And so let's see how that looks. All right, and so they just sort of zip on by while everything's happening. Okay, so I want them to go back to where they were. So I'm going to just advance forward 1 frame, and you can have a couple options of doing that. If you look over here where you find the little preview menu on your sidebar here, you can hit this little button that says next frame, right? Or you can press page up or page down. Page up will take you back 1 frame, page down will take you forward 1 frame. And I'm just going to drag them back to where they were. Hold down Shift while I do it. So you can kind of see what's happening here. Essentially what we do is we go across the screen, and then we instantly transport back from one screen to the other. Okay, so with that done, what we can do now is we can actually just copy and paste these keyframes, just Control C and just Control V, the various spots around the animation. And so now we can just sort of see them fly by once, and then again, And they go back, and we're waiting for this next little keyframe here for them to start. And then they go back again. Right, cool. Okay, so I want to say they make a 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll make the second row of cars just slightly slower. And once again, I hit my P for position. And I'm going to have the position, you know, it'll be like here. I'll just hold down Shift while I pull them back. And then I'm going to just advance forward maybe a little bit more. Like say right about there. And I'll sort of drag this across. Okay, and once again, page down to advance forward 1 frame, and then drag them back. And so we can kind of see how the two compare here when we play it. One group of cars is going a little slower, and another group of cars is going a little faster. And obviously you can sort of, you know, tweak this. So once again, I'll just Control C, and I'll just Control V, Control V, right? So they only go across every, like about 5 times or so. Cool. All right, so the last thing we'll put in is our sign, and this will be our rotation keyframe. And again, this is all just sort of optional. This is stuff that you can kind of do. I'm going to sneak this right behind the road, and I'll scale this down a little bit here. I'll scale it down, say, 70% or so. I'll have my P for position. I'll keep it down the center here, and I'll just have it kind of hanging out here. So maybe this is more like a billboard than a road sign. It's okay. So before I start my rotation keyframes, I'm going to grab my anchor point, and I'm going to grab my anchor point tool here, and I'm just going to drag it down to the bottom. Have it snap to the bottom here. That's going to create a little fulcrum upon which this thing can turn. And so with R for rotation selected, I can create a little keyframe here, say for instance right about here, and I can kind of go a little bit this way, maybe rotate it back a little bit. Okay, maybe rotate it forward a little bit. And then I'll go bring it back to 0 here. And I'll just select all these, right click on them, and say keyframe assistant, easy ease. And once again, I'll just Control C. And I'm going to find where the cars are passing by it, right about here, and I'll Control V. And I'll do that one more time, right about here, Control V. So let's take a look and see what we've got so far. There you go. So it's sort of waving there. All right, so the last thing that you asked for is to apply an effect. So just several things you can do. You can obviously add something in here into it, but the idea is that you want to find under effect, you want to just look through some of these and find something that you can apply. So if I could do any number of things, I could even do this. I can go to Layer, New, Adjustment Layer. And then anything that I put on that adjustment layer is going to affect all the things down below. So for instance, if I wanted to, you know, say for instance, go down here and find something like a simulation and find like, ooh, I don't know, snowfall, like this. Let's take a look, see. You can see there's little snowflakes falling down now, you know. I could do the same thing. I could do like a, you know, rainfall here. And I could have, you know, rain falling while this is all going. So you can just look around and see if there's something that you think might work. But I want you to apply that, and I want you to animate that as well. So for instance, with the rainfall, you know, there's several things you can edit. One of the things is the wind. So maybe I'll just like create a little keyframe here for the wind, and maybe have it speed up as it gets to be dark, which is going to make the, you know, go a little bit faster, and then I'll just have it go back to 0 before, or I want to say it was 0. Yeah, 0. And I'll have it go back to 0 towards the end here. So we can kind of see it starts to rain, and then it sort of, the wind blows. Well, the rain gets a little more intense as the nighttime comes. And then lights come on, and then the wind sort of dies down, and the rain starts to fall flat again. Once again, the idea is we want it to be able to repeat seamlessly. Okay, so there's no need to make this into an animated GIF. If you were to make it into an animated GIF, it would repeat seamlessly. But this is a fun little project, I think. So once again, you want to put your own little spin on it in terms of the colors, in terms of how the things are designed. You can animate things in various ways. These are all just sort of suggestions that help fit in with the requirements of the rubric. And the last thing, of course, is going to be up to you as far as what you want to pop in there. All right, well, I really cannot wait to see you guys produce. Best of luck, and see you in class.